Let me tell you how it connects. How does Jesus' death on the cross 2,000 years ago, how does it apply to our life 2,000 years later? Let me tell you how it applies. And then I want to get your thoughts. So we killed Jesus. We broke the law. He sends Jesus Christ to pay the fine. So let's just say you was charged with $1 billion worth of speeding tickets. Could you pay them off?
No.
But if Bill Gates came in
Right.
and paid your fine, now the judge can do what?
Let you walk.
He can let you walk because the fine has been paid. Well, your sin has created a debt that your good works couldn't pay off. So God sent Jesus as the payment for your sin.
Right.
So now he's the only one that can pay for your sin, not you, but him, because he's perfect and he's a perfect sacrifice for our sin. Now God can actually let you go into heaven, not because of what you've done,
But what Jesus has
because
done.
of what he's done. He's paid the fine in full. Now God can let you walk out of hell and spend eternity in heaven because of the death and resurrection of Jesus. And then 3 days later, you know what he did?
Rose again.
He rose again, showing that he defeated death.
So
What you think?
My question is for stuff like that is what about the people who don't necessarily like know that type of stuff, and I don't want to say they don't believe, but have a different like mindset of it.
Yes, ma'am.
How do they go about, or how does that work for them?
People that don't know what I'm just telling you guys,
Yeah.
well, you know why I'm out doing this right now? Because people don't know, and people have a tendency to keep this type of message in the church walls. It's not ever made to stay in the church. It's made to actually get out. That's why I come out in the public, and I'm always trying to find somebody just to share this message with.
Right.
So that's why when you get right with Jesus, then you go take the same message to somebody else, because that's how it spread it. In Jesus' day, it spread it. It didn't stay in the church. That's why what I just showed you guys is the gospel message. It's the good news that Jesus paid the fine for your sin. That's why the Bible says we need to be spreading the message. You ever heard about evangelism? Or that's what I'm doing with you guys. I'm trying to tell you guys how to be saved, how to escape hell, because most people don't know, and death seized upon them 170,000 people.
Right.
And if you don't hear the message, do you still go to hell? Yes. Let me tell you why. Because you know right from wrong, but we still choose to do what?
Wrong. Right.
Yeah, so we still deserve it, even whenever we never heard the good news.
Right.
So now the good news is important to you guys, is that if you would just respond to Jesus, just acknowledge that you can't keep the standard, that I'm not good enough, and if you'll do that, he'll have mercy on you.
Right.
You can't pay it. That's why you need his mercy. You know what mercy is?
Is something I won't say is it. I would say it's stronger than grace.
Yeah.
It's gonna. Mercy is like you on that last straw, but I'm gonna give you mercy.
It's like
There you go.
forgiveness.
It is like forgiveness.
Yeah.
Like mercy says, I'll give you last. I'll leave you last. I hope I ain't holding y'all up. I'm so
You
sorry.
good, you
Okay.
good, you good.
I'll give you the last example of what mercy is and what grace and mercy is. Y'all driving? Let's say you got in your car. This is a bad illustration. I'm so sorry, but this is gonna make my point. You got in your car. You ran up the road. Y'all was talking and texting and y'all doing something. Y'all felt a body going into y'all car. Y'all get out and it's a young boy that y'all ran over and you killed him. The police arrest both of y'all. And then he stands you before the trial, and he says, "How do you plead?" And you say, "Hey, Judge, I wasn't paying attention." He says, "It doesn't matter. The kid you ran over was my nephew. You getting a needle." Let's just say you ever heard of the electric chair? I'm gonna use that as an illustration. 3 days later, they're scheduled to be executed. They put you in an electric chair, and they strap the bucket on your head. They put a bag over your head. They strap both arms in, both legs in, and there you are, about to take the punishment. Executioner goes out of the room, puts his hand on the switch. He says, "You have any last word before I flip this switch? What are you gonna say in your last dying word before you meet God?"
How long do I got to say? How long do I got to talk? 'Cause,
What you gonna say?
well, I'm gonna say a lot.
You gonna say a lot?
I'm
Like
gonna
what?
say a lot. Like for one, it was an accident. It wasn't like I would try to plead my case while I'm already, you feel me?
Yeah, sure.
Accepting my face. So I was just like, it was an accident.
Sure.
But then I'm going off on everybody. Like,
You going
I'm
off on everybody?
everybody. Like, yeah, forget you.
Yeah, you cussing everybody.
I'm everybody.
You cussing everybody out before you go. I want to make sure everybody get their food.
Everybody getting it.
I don't. I'll probably just try to tell them it was an accident. I
Yeah.
hope they forgive me. I hope they find a peace in it. It happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let me tell you what happens. So you try to plead your case. I mean, of course you're not gonna get it. That's the judge's nephew. But here's what happens. Right before, so you tense your body up. You can't see nothing but darkness because that bag is over your head. And all of a sudden, you hear the front door come open of execution room. Footsteps are getting closer to your chair. And you kind of relax a little bit. The bag comes off of both of you guys' head, and there stands the judge. That's the uncle of the nephew you killed. But he don't have a look of anger in his eyes. He actually has a look of compassion. Tears will start streaming down his face, and you're thinking to yourself, what is going on? Would you be thinking that?
Yeah.
Well, here's what he does. He calls his 18-year-old son, innocent son, into the room. So his innocent son comes into the room. He's really jolly. He's really jovial. And he looks at his father's face and tells him he's been crying. He said, Daddy, what's wrong? What's going on? Why are you crying? He said, son, do you remember what we talked about? He says, yeah, Dad, hand me the keys. So this judge gives his 18-year-old innocent son the keys, and he goes to the where you're sitting, and he starts to do what? Unlock you and tells you to stand in the corner. So you're confused trying to figure out like what's going on. Well, his 18-year-old son sits in your place. He sits in your place, and he says to his father with his voice trembling, he says, Father, I'm ready. His daddy comes over with his hands trembling. He hooks his son to the chair, and he put the electrical bucket on his head and put the dark bag over his face, and he starts walking out of the room. And he says to his daddy, Daddy, is any other way this can be done? His daddy says, no, son. He says, well, not my will, but yours be done. The daddy goes out of the room, puts his hand on the switch, and guess what he does?
He switches it down.
Flips it on who?
His son.
His innocent son. And as he's shaking uncontrollably, he yells out, Father, it is finished. The price is paid, and he dies. What did he just do for you?
He just
He said,
sacrificed himself.
soul.
Did you deserve it?
No, I see.
What you
I see.
thinking?
I see what I see.
You thinking it?
I see. I can't.
Did you deserve it?
Nah.
No, you didn't deserve it. He gave it to you by his mercy.
Right.
He gave it to you by his grace. You didn't deserve it. You wasn't paying attention. Then he comes back in. He falls on his knees, put his hands on his burnt son. He looks at y'all in the corner and says, if you would accept what my son has done for you, if you accept the mercy we're willing to give you, then we'll let you go because he's paid your fine. You're free to go. Which one would you reject? Would you reject it or accept it?
I'm gonna accept
If
it.
we rejected, what would happen?
You tell me. What do you think will happen if you reject it?
I mean, we gonna go with his son.
He's going to do exactly what he did to his son, even worse. So if you reject the mercy, then he doesn't, it's no more mercy for you.
Right.
So now he gives you what you deserve and even extra because you rejected the son. If you accept it, how would you live and how would he feel about you? How would he feel if you accepted?
I mean, I wouldn't, honestly, I would understand if he felt some type of way because I still took away his
Right.
one kid.
Right.
But at the same time, I would see or understand if he had forgiveness to
Okay.
a certain extent.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like if we accepted the sacrificing of his son,
Yeah.
then yeah, he would be okay. Y'all
Yeah,
good.
man.
But it just,
Who would you be telling?
I'll be telling people like
Everybody.
I was just dang near dead, and this man just came in there and say, like,
You see what I'm doing to y'all? When he saved me from me, I was doing crazy stuff. Man, I was messing with girls. I was breaking into folks' houses. He should have killed me in my sin, and he should have sent me to hell. But when I heard this message, how Jesus, 2,000 years ago, God flipped the switch on his son, and that should have been who?
Us.
Should have been us, but he did it to his innocent son, and now he's offering you complete forgiveness if you be willing to surrender your life to him. But if you gave your life for me, it only makes sense for you to do what?
give my life back to him.
Absolutely. He paid it. Now you can't do nothing but tell people
Right.
because of the mercy. You knew if you ran over somebody, you was going to get the electric chair. The judgment, the punishment doesn't change people. You know what really changes people? It's mercy.
Right.
Now I want to do right. I want to obey the rules on the road because of mercy, not because of the judgment.
Right.
You know the reason why I follow Jesus and I tell people about Jesus is not because I'm scared I'm going to go to hell. But how can I not when he's giving me this free
When he
gift?
gave me you, right.
You get it, don't you? So you got a choice to make. You can either like go red light and thank you for the $15. Thank y'all for the conversation. I don't really want to follow Jesus. I'm going to go red. You can go yellow and say, man, I don't know if I want to give my whole life up to follow Jesus. Like, what am I have to do? You know, don't worry about what you have to do. Just give it to him because he knows so much better how to live your life and do with your life than you do. Or you can go green and say, Jesus, I'm sorry. I need your mercy. I'm surrendering my life to you best I know how. And even though I'll never be perfect, I'm willing to be perfected. You can go green and just give him your life best you can. That's my last question. What do y'all think? Red light, yellow light, or
I
green
feel
light?
like